everybody. I'm your host, Carl Champley, and this is KBTalks, powered by the NKBA, the only podcast dedicated to sharing latest kitchen and bath industry insights to help grow and support your business. Well, summer has officially arrived, and with it, a reminder of a very profitable business segment. In fact, the NKBA's recent outdoor living study found that 84% of homeowners use professional installers for at least part of their outdoor kitchen installation. So there's definitely the opportunity to work with. And today we get to ask the expert on how to best capitalize these opportunities. But before we fire up, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
At Samsung, we aren't just predicting the future, we're creating it. Inspired by chefs, the Samsung Chef Collection is built on 3 core pillars: design, technology, and performance. The recipient of 4 2018 CES Innovation Honoree Awards, the Chef Collection features performance, precision, and design that is recognized across the globe. The Chef Collection lineup includes a 42-inch 4-door flex built-in refrigerator, a 36-inch Pro Range, 36-inch induction cooktop, and a 30-inch microwave combination wall oven, all boasting smart features designed to suit any type of lifestyle, including Wi-Fi-enabled interior cameras and advanced temperature control. Samsung's wide range of products feature multiple color and size options and ensure that the kitchen is designed exactly as the chef desires it. We crafted this collection with sophisticated capabilities for intuitive performance to elevate the modern kitchen experience. Welcome to the future of cooking. To discover more about the Chef Collection and learn more about our rewards program for certified designers, visit Samsung.com.
We are back and ready to speak with today's guest. We have Mr. Russ Faulk, Chief Designer and Head of Product at Kalamazoo Outdoor Gourmet. Welcome to the show, Russ.
Thank you, Carl. I'm very happy to be joining you today.
Mate, it's great to have you on board. Now, I think I've got a better title for you. It's the grilling god, I've heard you've been called.
Nah, never by myself, that's for sure.
Mate, that is a superior title. Like, I'm a master builder, you're a grilling master, but to be called a grilling god, that is far superior.
I think maybe we should just stick with Russ.
With Russell work, all right. Well, mate, I love this this particular subject. As a kid, I grew up in some tough times, but I remember some fond memories when the old man and I would be in the backyard having a barbie. And, back then we had concrete blocks and we had a refrigerator grill, and that was our barbecue. But every Sunday night, rain, hail, or shine, that's where we would meet. And, mate, I never forget it. There's a lot of fun times to be enjoyed, in the outdoor kitchen area.
For sure.
So, and one thing I have to point out at the beginning of the episode, if you ever think of saying, hey, throw another strip on the barbie, I'm going to have to end the podcast because I don't know why, but everybody says that.
No worries here. I won't be tempted.
All right. So earlier I referenced the NKBA outdoor living study at the top of the episode. It's very interesting to know that consumers are seeking professional design advice to create their outdoor kitchens. Now, in your expert opinion, for designers looking to expand their business into that outdoor space or the outback, where do they start when talking with their clients?
I think it's definitely a great idea for design professionals to include the potential of an outdoor kitchen as part of the conversation. Certainly, a lot of times, that's what the entire conversation is about. They might just be coming to you to discuss outdoors, but there's no reason to hesitate discussing the outdoors when you're working with somebody on an indoor kitchen. And we love to see those spaces working together from the very origins of the design. One of the biggest things that we need to establish early on any outdoor kitchen project is what the relationship between the indoor and outdoor kitchen are going to be. That's a key part of assessing the site. And then, of course, we want to understand the homeowner needs and aspirations. There's a lot of different kinds of cooking they may want to do outdoors. And then there's a huge gamut of construction techniques we might use for building the outdoor kitchen. So it doesn't matter what sequence you go through those on, as long as you begin by assessing the site and understanding what the homeowner is looking for.
Yeah, it's great to be a listener and to, as you said, to see what they want. I'm always excited as a designer and a contractor in this space because, generally, whether it's Australia or here, and depending on the capital city, space is generally limited and important. And one thing I get excited about, if it's relatively a small kitchen and a small dining space, is blowing out a particular wall that has a window in it, some French doors, bifold, sliding, what have you, and then extend that space, the indoors to the outdoors, with an outdoor deck or patio, and have that outdoor kitchen experience. And, as being in the game now for well over 30 years, I find a lot of people get really excited on that concept of stretching that heartbeat of the home and putting some of that pulse on the outside. So with what you're saying, how about we break it down? When one is assessing the site, what needs to be taken into consideration?
We need to look at a lot of things when it comes to assessing the site, and it begins with understanding the local codes that are going to govern the placement and size of an outdoor kitchen, including permeable surface restrictions. We might not be able to put in a concrete slab. We might need to allow for drainage and things like that. But the number one thing that we're typically looking at is how the outdoor kitchen and the indoor kitchen are going to relate to each other. Are they going to work together and be closely tied together, in which case blowing out some lanai doors and having the spaces truly be connected and blur the lines between the indoors and out is great. But a lot of times we end up creating more of a destination outdoor kitchen. And that decision of adjacent or removed really dictates a lot of what we need to do, and in some cases, the size that the outdoor kitchen needs to be. Because when you're more remote on the property, let's say you're even just on the other side of a swimming pool, we're going to have more need for refrigeration. We're going to have more need for an ample sink for cleanup and things like that. So there's a lot of subtleties that have to do with the relationship between those. And then, as we're trying to figure out the budget, there's some big differences in how easy or difficult it may be to get the utilities to the space where we want the outdoor kitchen to be. So there's a lot of advantages to being adjacent to the home, but that's not always what everybody wants.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's like you start with the priorities and then work down from there. So moving on to determining the unique homeowner needs, so everything is very custom. This can include everything from how often they are in the space, how often they cook or entertain, what are they cooking, etc.
Yeah, I love to see outdoor kitchens used on a daily basis, and in some ways during the right months of the year, almost becoming the primary kitchen of the house. I always say that cooking outdoors takes a lot of the drudgery out of preparing everyday meals, but that's not always the case, right? Outdoor kitchens are often a special events kind of space, but there's a lot of types of cooking and styles of cooking that you have the freedom to pursue outdoors that aren't necessarily available indoors, such as wood-fired grilling, pizza making. You can make pizzas indoors, but there aren't a lot of pieces of equipment that are capable of making a true Neapolitan-style pizza indoors where you're cooking at 900 degrees. So we really open up a lot of possibilities outdoors, and that leads to some equipment decisions that go far beyond the grill. And even for the grill, there are clients who are going to be passionate about the possibilities of cooking over a wood fire, or are diehard charcoal enthusiasts. And then there's the others who want the simplicity of gas. So there's a lot of interesting possibilities and a lot of decisions to make. And I think that an educated design professional who understands all the possibilities and the broad spectrum of appliances available is really well equipped to help the homeowner.
And I think that's a good point, is that all of our designers and contractors and the public listening to this podcast is to, especially for the designers, to get very well educated about all the opportunities and the appliances of like what Kalamazoo has, for example, really opens up the opportunities. Like, I'm impressed with your hybrid fire grill where you can either use gas, charcoal or wood. I'm impressed with your cast brass burners. There's a lot of interesting stuff that you have. The pizza ovens, you've got an artisan fire pizza oven that's built in or freestanding. And just having a pizza oven outside the house is just, how awesome is that? It's all about friends and about family. It's a great opportunity. It really is a great opportunity. So now, consider, let me see, with all those options in mind, it really does impact the decision around appliances. It's not just about choosing and deciding what grill to buy anymore, is it? It's very different.
Yes, definitely. And you mentioned the pizza oven. I think pizza ovens create some freedom of expression within homeowners and their guests that you don't find in other kinds of cooking. People don't just make up a recipe on the fly, but you put enough ingredients out on your prep station for people to experiment with, and everybody feels like they can try new things on a pizza. So I love the freedom that comes with it. On the flip side, if you really are an advanced cook and you want to pursue restaurant style cooking at home, I always say the best place to do that is outdoors, because you have the freedom to work with higher temperatures than you can safely work with indoors. It's a completely different kind of appliance. It's a completely different kind of environment. And I think there's a lot more fun to be had.
Yeah. And plus, if you mess up and you burn everything, you're not going to smoke the house out, right?
But no, cleanup is easier and you don't smoke up that house.
Yeah. But it's an exciting time, because I remember when I was an insider a few years ago, when you looked at the statistics of how popular indoor outdoor kitchens were, it was kind of level. Now, because of the trends and because of how simply the industry is now, it's becoming very, very popular to have an outdoor barbecue, outdoor entertainment area. And in fact, on my social pages, I'm actually, one of my projects, we're doing an outdoor grill right now, and I'll post that. And I kind of often look at, in Los Angeles, where I'm based, at the projects, what I'm doing is kind of my own little survey as to what people are interested in. And it's interesting to see now that the outdoor entertainment area is really starting to fire up again. Okay, so now you have to consider creating work zones just as you would in an indoor kitchen, correct?
Oh, absolutely. I think of it as the same sort of functional zones outdoors as indoors, and you want the same, you want to plan for your workflow for all the activities from prepping to cooking to serving and to cleaning up afterwards. All the same principles apply. There's a couple of considerations that become a little more unique outdoors. One, you're dealing with the elements. And you need to make sure that you're choosing a countertop that doesn't get hot in direct sunlight, because it's impossible to do prep work on a hot counter. And there's other aspects of the elements, but the other challenge we face when working outdoors is almost universally that outdoor kitchen is smaller than its indoor kitchen counterpart. We are typically working with less space. There's a lot of people whose outdoor kitchen is bigger than my indoor kitchen, but I can promise you my outdoor kitchen is still smaller than my indoor kitchen. You get less space allocated to it.
And I think that's as designers, we have the license to do what we want. And it's like, really, what I always do is I get the builder's tape, and whether it's on pavers or on concrete or whatever the surface is, a permeable paving, as you mentioned, is very popular here for sure, is to, tape it out with the blue tape. And quite often in the situation I have at the moment, I've got a beautiful sink with all the drawers and whatnot. I've got the oven, the drop-in sink, and I've got 16 inches on either end and 18 inches in the middle. I'm thinking 16 inches is okay, but let's expand it to 20 inches, just to have a little bit more prep area. And it's nice to actually just mark it out before we start building, hold the client's hand and walk around it, just to get more of a visual and bit of an idea of how that's done. Now, when it comes to utilities, things like gas, electricity, sewer, that can't be overlooked, can it?
Oh, certainly not. And it's amazing how frequently people do not plan for an adequate enough gas supply, especially on equipment like you get from Kalamazoo. They're high BTU demand if you're running them at full capacity. You definitely have to plan for those BTUs, especially when there's a lot of other things that might be demanding gas at the same time in the outdoor living area. So you have to plan for the total BTUs for your outdoor kitchen, which could be the grill, the pizza oven, cooktops, other kinds of specialty equipment. But then also, if there's an outdoor fireplace or if there's a pool heater, we've got to plan for all of those BTUs. And there's a lot of pretty easy to find reference charts online that make it clear that not just the total BTUs, but the length of the pipe becomes a factor. the longer the pipe, the bigger the diameter of that pipe it needs to be. So that's something that I'm always suggesting people look into early in the project, because it's a lot easier to deal with that gas line before you start doing other things than it is afterwards. The other tip that I like to share with people when it comes to electricity is in every municipality where I've checked into the codes, you can put your ground fault circuit interrupt, the GFI, in the breaker panel in the home instead of in every outlet. And that can pay dividends, especially when you're talking about under-counter refrigeration and the like, where resetting that outlet would mean dragging the refrigerator out of its little alcove, as opposed to first ensuring you have no water penetration problem and then just going and resetting the breaker in the home's electrical panel. So that could be a real boon to your clients to deal with some of those little details. And the last thing you mentioned is some of the wastewater considerations. There's a lot of variance in the codes around the country. We did a kitchen in Palo Alto. I want to say it was 4 years ago now, but that was the first time I found a municipality where you have to cover the sink when it's not in use so that rainwater cannot mix into the drain system for the house. So there's a lot of little nuances that we all need to make sure we're aware of when working outdoors.
No, there certainly is. I like those 3 points you mentioned. In my situation here, I've got the gas line for the house. I'm also picking up 2 tankless hot water heaters, and then I'm running a gas line out. So as a result, we're starting from 1 1/8 inches, and by the time we get to the actual barbecue, it's 3/4. Well, I want to thank you very much, mate, for being on the podcast. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Carl. It's been a pleasure.
Mate, pleasure's all mine. Now, if people want to get more information about this grilling god, how do they get in touch with you? Is it through KalamazooGourmet.com?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so folks, KalamazooGourmet.com is the website. Don't forget to check out the National Kitchen and Bath Association's website, which is nkba.org. And that pretty much does it this week. We're always working on new KBTalks episodes. That's powered by the NKBA. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. Please be sure to send your feedback to nkba@flyingcamel.com. Always appreciate that. And remember to take a moment to leave us a star rating or a review wherever you listen to our podcast. So I want to thank you for listening. And remember to get out there and design something great. Now stay tuned for a quick NKBA Minute.
The NKBA Specialty Badge Program offers members a new competitive edge. Certification has long been a cornerstone of the National Kitchen and Bath Association's mission, although the designations are mostly limited to designers. The new Specialty Badge Program now allows any NKBA member to broaden their knowledge and earn credentials in a variety of areas through online course materials and passing an online exam. NKBA Specialty Badges currently available include cabinetry, remodeling, living in place, sales and marketing, and floor plans and specifications. Take advantage of the NKBA's ongoing professional development opportunities and get the NKBA competitive edge. Visit nkba.org for more information.